They say Mike's about to blow though. Tell me something that I don't know. With the crowd bouncing like bogles, you can come on.
What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. So this week I have the 2018 Lexus IS300 F Sport. This is one amazing little sedan. Thank you to Lexus USA for sending me this car to review for you guys this week. Be sure you guys subscribe to keep up with my content. I upload new content every week, and hit that like button if you guys enjoy this video. So to start off, this car is finished off in Lexus's red line paint color. So it is just basically one of the most vibrant, one of the most luscious looking reds I've seen on a car. It's so red and so bright that the way it contrasts with the black accents on the car is so significant. It looks so good. And one of my favorite design pieces is just the front end of this car. You've got the spindle grille, of course. You've got the signature checkmark LED, which is one of my favorite design cues on this generation Lexus. I just think it looks amazing. I think this whole car looks amazing, especially at night. If you guys have seen any of my videos, you know that I'm big on night impressions of a vehicle. It's just something not a lot of people get the opportunity to experience or even see in a video, and this car looks great at night. Another thing I love about this car is this F Sport package just really makes it pop, especially with these 18-inch alloy gunmetal wheels. They are some beautiful, very sharply designed wheels. You have your F Sport badge right here on the side, located right underneath the mirror, and this whole package looks so great. It's so sharp looking, especially from this profile angle. You've got that crease that runs from the hood all the way back to where the tail lamp is, and then you have another line that runs underneath the door, and it kind of skips the rear wheel up into the headlamp. And that's probably one of the coolest design tricks I've seen in the automotive industry. It's just really, really beautifully done. And the tail lamps on here look great. Of course, especially at night, they look really good. Very solid design right there. And you know, the rear end is pretty simple. It's basically the same as the first time this generation Lexus IS came out, aside from the different exhaust pipes there. So as far as the key, you've got a standard key. It's got your lock, your unlock, your trunk release, your alarm, your Lexus badge on the back, and it's all wrapped in this sort of gloss black package. Now you can get into the car one of two ways. You can use the key, and then of course you do have an advanced keyless access system that's all touch sensitive. So you have a little indent in the door handle. You're gonna put your finger on top of that, it'll lock the door, and there's a touch sensor behind. You put your hand behind there, that'll unlock the door as soon as you touch it. So the interior of my Tester is finished off in this really beautiful tan color. It does a great job of just complementing that red on the outside. It just gives a good two-tone scheme there. But the interior of this car is just, it's so beautiful. It's so well crafted. I'll talk about that more in a second. But as far as the door, you've got good materials over here. The armrest is very softly padded. You've got your window controls, door locks, mirror controls, all wrapped in this sort of faux carbon fiber look. The storage space in the door pocket is really nice. You of course have your speaker at the bottom, your Lexus IS branded kick plate, Lexus IS branded mats, aluminum pedals, and you even have, of course, your power controls with your lumbar support. And the leather on this car is very soft. It's really, really soft leather. You've got your perforations in the middle, and the seats themselves are contoured. A little on the aggressive side. I'm 6 feet, 170 pounds, and I fit pretty tight in this thing, so you may want to check it out. All right, so shutting the door on the Lexus IS. Really solid door shut, but I also like the click it makes when you open the door. It's really solid. Very nice. Good door shut quality. I'll give you guys another look at the interior. All right, so starting the car is very simple. As long as you have the key on the inside, you're gonna push this button right here to start. Very nice. So the first thing I want to talk about is this steering wheel. This is probably one of the best feeling steering wheels. It's got this really thick part over here, and you guys can see it's super plush. feels really good. You've got your perforations off to the side. You've got the smooth leather portion up here on top, and on the bottom you've got your F Sport on the bottom. When you've got this sort of plastic meant to look like aluminum piece right here, you've got your Lexus badge in the middle, the paddle shifters, which are full aluminum. I'll show you guys how those work later on in the driving portion of the video. But coming over here to the right, you are going to have your buttons to control that screen right in the middle. My favorite button is this, just because I love the movement of the dial. It's so futuristic looking and it looks so cool. But if you go back to there, you can go through things like, you do have a G monitor, so I'll get a little bit closer so you guys can see. But you've got your G monitor, you go down, you've got your tire pressure, gear position, a sway warning, current MPG, range, average MPG, eco. You even have your boost pressure, so if I give it some gas, that's pretty cool. And back to your G meter. And of course you can go back and see things like your compass, your music, all of your lane assist, things like that, your cruise control settings, all kinds of things like that. So you can definitely see a lot through there, and if you push that button again, it's going to go back and show your fuel over off to the right side, and then you're going to have all of your water temperature, temperature outside, how many miles are on the car, things like that. And then right in the middle, we've got your tach front and center, which looks so cool. Now, this does change depending on what mode you're in. So if I come down here to this mode selector, you've got your Eco, Normal, and Sport. Now, it's only going to change when you go from Eco, which I'm in now, to Sport, back to Eco, back to Sport, and if I push it down, it goes to Normal, which is basically the same menu as Eco. So pretty neat. I do love the graphics on here. They look really good. But coming over here to the left side of the steering wheel, you are going to have, of course, your volume, your previous, next, your mode, phone commands, voice commands, simple stuff like that. Behind the steering wheel, you've got automatic headlights, your daytime running lights you can turn off if you choose. Of course, your blinkers. And over here off to the right side, you are going to have your automatic wipers. And then, of course, you can do different intervals and things like that. So there are a few more buttons located over here. So you do have your trunk release, have your hood release right there. You know, your parking brake is actually going to be just an old school foot actuated brake. You do have a button right here. You push that, and that's going to adjust the windscreen in the back of the windshield. You do have your parking sensors, which you can turn on and off, your blind spot monitors. You even have your automatic headlights right over there, if you guys can see that. Let me try to brighten this up a little bit. Automatic headlights, your interior lighting, trip odometer buttons, different things like that, which is pretty neat. Coming up here, you are going to have your vents. You've got really cool detail up here. You've got a lot of soft leather with some white stitching going right there. Now, the dash on here is probably the coolest thing in the world. It just has such a unique look to it, if you guys can get a good look at it. But coming right back here, you've got this really cool detail. The sun's in my way, so I can't really see, but you've got this little strip that goes right in there. The screen is in there really, really well. Kind of slants down pretty aggressively. Now you've got your vents with your clock right in the middle. And just the whole dash in here is very, very detail oriented, and it looks super cool. So like I said, you have your clock right there. Now all of your AC controls are going to be located right here. So your fan speed, your hazards, all of your different defrost, your window defrost. Now this is the coolest part. So this is touch sensitive button. So if I slide up on that, that's going to adjust my temperature. And I just slide down, and it's very responsive. It works really well. That's probably one of the coolest features about this car. Now over here to the left, you do have a knee pad here. So I am right at 6 feet tall. So when my knee is resting against here, it's really, really soft. And you have that on both the driver and the passenger side right here as well. Now you do have a CD player, which is pretty cool actually, because a lot of car companies don't even offer that as an option anymore. You do have your tune and your volume, which are going to be manual buttons, and you've got this sort of brushed, almost aluminum look on here, which looks really cool. You have a Mark Levinson sound system, and then if you push this, you do actually have a little area back here that you can put a micro SD, which is basically for your navigation and things like that. Now you do have heated and cooled seats on both sides, heated steering wheel. The shifter on here is very, very nice. Of course, you have your aluminum right in the middle, perforated leather around that, white stitching, shift boot. Very simple. Slap it over to the left to go into your manual mode. Now, once you're in reverse, you have your backup camera, which comes up. Very easy, and your guidance lines do turn with your steering wheel. And then once you put it back in park, that goes right away. Now, you do have this here. Now, if you guys have seen my review of the Lexus LX 570, you'll know that I was not a big fan of this system. It's easy to use once you get used to it, but it does take a while to get used to. So anyone like me, a journalist who doesn't have this car for very long, it is kind of frustrating, and it's not the most accurate system in the world. You kind of just use this toggle switch, and you know, sometimes you can overshoot it. So if I'm trying to go to the back button, I could easily overshoot it, go to Bluetooth, and then same way the other direction. So you really have to be careful. Other than that, it's a pretty cool looking setup. You've got your place to rest your arm right here, your inner button, so it kind of works like a little mouse, things like that. Like I said, your drive modes are here, your traction control, snow, which has its own setting. 2 cup holders. I do have my Starbucks Nitro right there. Lift this up. You've got a pretty small amount of space, nothing too crazy. I've got an iPhone charger in there. This doesn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You also have an auxiliary port right there. Fold that down. The armrest itself is actually very soft leather. You guys can see there. It's very, very plush, really comfortable. You do have an area over here, of course, to put all of your books, things like that. Now, your bottle holders do work really well, so you guys can see there. I've got a little bottle of water over there. Coming up, you do have auto dimming mirrors. You've also got your home link located right underneath there, if you guys can kind of see that. Interior illumination, and then of course all your controls to control your moonroof right here, and then you do have a manual sliding cover right here. Now, the whole headliner is lined in this really, really smooth fabric. It's not Alcantara, but it's just the softest fabric I've ever felt. It's really, really nice. You do have your visors, which have your illumination right up there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. We'll go ahead and hop in the back seat, check out the room. All right, so coming to the back seat, sitting behind myself, I do have a really good amount of room back here. Probably, 3 to 4 inches, a really good amount of room. You do have mat pockets on both sides. Air vents back here. The middle hump is pretty big, so if you have someone sitting in the middle, it will be difficult because you'll have to basically straddle this right here. My feet fit underneath really, really well. No problems there. The materials back here are really good. You still have your leather, the same kind of materials you have up front, except for this isn't quite as nice. I think it's pretty much the same, but it feels a little bit less quality, but no big deal, really. As far as the seats, they're very comfortable. As you can see here, you've got this huge piece over here on the thigh and the upper part, so it really kind of cushions you inside of the seat. You do have an armrest here. You're gonna push this button here, and you do have your cup holders that come out. You just put those back in. Really plush, really, really soft armrest, so very, very comfortable. I do like this style of putting the cup holders in there because then it doesn't take away from your arm room, so 2 people can actually rest their arms right on here, which is nice. The headrests are very nice. You can adjust them up and down, and then you do have, of course, your sunshade back here. That's pretty much it, guys. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk. All right, so coming to the trunk of the IS300, you do have a really good amount of trunk space in here. You have hooks right over here. You do have that on both sides. You do have a med kit back here as well, and then right underneath here, you are going to have your spare. Now, you can fold the rear seats down to give you a little bit more room back here. We'll go ahead and check out underneath the hood. All right, so coming underneath the hood, you are going to have Lexus's 2-liter twin scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's going to make 241 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That's going to be mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission and routed to the rear wheels only. So this should equate to a very, very good drive. And this thing gets some really, really impressive fuel economy. You can see the fuel economy numbers over here to the right. But let's go ahead and take it for a drive, guys. Lexus IS300 F Sport. you guys can stay tuned for that one a little bit later. But so first thing you notice when you hop into drive is it's so cockpit-like. Everything is very sporty feeling. I love the startup of this car. Everything's very close to you. Everything's right within reach. You don't have to reach for a single thing in here, and you're so confined in your space, and the passenger is so confined in their space. I mean, like, looking down, I have just a really good, solid amount of room. One side note, if this was a stick shift, this would be absolutely perfect, because this area is just right within reach, and I can just imagine this being a little 6-speed. Click that like button if you guys agree with me, because seriously, this would be amazing with a 6-speed. But you know, you do have your drive modes. Like I said, you can slap it over to the left to go into manual mode. Right now, we'll just start off in normal mode. So I'll go ahead and back out here. Now, one thing I love about Lexus is they do a very good job of making you feel like you've bought a lot more car than you really have. I mean, this thing's mid 40,000, and it easily feels like you're in a $50,000 car. It's just so beautifully crafted in here. It rides smooth, you know, going from a stop, just driving through a neighborhood like I am now. It's just so comfortable. It's so beautifully balanced. You know, light steering, typical Lexus. Smooth, comfortable, the seats are comfortable, they hug you nice and tight, and yeah. So overall, very good first impressions when you get into this car. You know, giving it mild acceleration. It's good. This is a good motor, very responsive. You know, for a little 4-cylinder turbo, it picks up and goes, guys. The one thing that is confusing for me is that they did this whole name change scheme. You know, all the letters and numbers with a lot of these luxury car companies are just getting so confusing, so out of hand. I wish they would make it more simplistic. Like, you know, Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger, simple, things like that. So like things like a Lexus IS300 F Sport 200T, which they now changed, and it's way too much, you know. And that's of course just a minor complaint that has nothing to do with the car itself and how it drives. It's just something that, to me, I find super annoying. So once again, stop sign to stop sign, stoplight to stoplight, driving through town, it's great. But this is the F Sport model, so I'm gonna switch it into Sport, slap into its manual mode. You can turn traction off. So you hit the button one time, you're gonna hold it, you do have to be at a stop. All of your traction will turn off. That means your front forward collision warning will turn off as well. And I'm going to rev it to about 2 grand, let the boost build up. Oh, there we go. Let's go. Very nice. You also get the faintest sound of the turbo spooling up, and then right when you let off, you get that nice like whistle from the turbo. It sounds really good. The paddles work really well. Downshifts and upshifts are good. They're not great. Coming in the second, got this corner right here. Look at that. What a car. There we go. This thing is a blast. Oh my goodness, it handles so well, so well. Of course, you got rear wheel drive on this bad boy. It's just such a good handling little car, for sure. The steering is good in Sport. I will admit, it's not a heavy steering like you would get in like BMW. It's a little bit lighter, but I kind of like that. It feels a little bit more natural. You know, if anything, I would like it to be just a little bit tighter, but it's very precise, very good as it is, and so I really have no complaints. Sorry. So once again, I'll show you guys how quickly the shifts happen here. So downshift, downshift, upshift. Now, really quick. You even almost get a nice little pop from the exhaust. You can barely hear it. You know, a lot of things in this car are sort of muted, but they are there. They didn't completely get rid of it. So if you're listening close enough, you can hear some of that good stuff. All right, so let's drive this like most of you watching this would drive it, which is in a more calm fashion. And when doing that, it does really well. Now you do have an eco mode, which of course you switch it all the way to the left, it's gonna go to eco, and it just basically really does a good job of mitigating and controlling the amount of throttle you have available. So you do have to really get into it if you want to accelerate to pass somebody, anything like that, but that's the whole point of it. It's eco mode, so that's to be expected. The sweet spot for me is normal. It does a very good job of giving you a perfect amount of throttle response. Your steering response is still good, it's a little bit lighter, and your suspension softens up just a hair. It's not super noticeable, but you do notice it when you're on slightly bumpier gravel. If you switch between the modes while you're on those bumps, you can actually notice a little bit of a difference. Hugs corners so well. You know, it's a Lexus, it's gonna last you forever, and that's the great thing about these cars is, you know, like I said, it really makes you feel like you paid a lot more. You know, this motor is very refined. The driving experience is super comfortable. The ambience in here is very nice. It's really luxurious feeling, but it's also very sporty feeling. I think this does a better job than BMW of being a sport luxury sedan. I think the only person better at the luxury end of things would probably be Mercedes-Benz. But in terms of having that perfect balance, that perfect mix, this Lexus has got it just absolutely spot on. So that pretty much wraps up driving impressions, guys. So, you know, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can do that one of two ways. You can click at the bottom, or you can click up here to the left. There should be a little icon there. You guys can click that, subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can be alerted when I have new videos uploaded, so you never miss any of my reviews. I have new reviews every single week, so you guys do want to subscribe to make sure you're staying up to date with those reviews. Also, follow me on Instagram, Forrest_auto_reviews. You can see what cars I have coming up next because I post on there quite a bit. And if you guys want to see some more of my other reviews, you can click over to the right, check out some of those. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all could be anywhere in the world right now, but you choose to be here with me, so thank you so much. You guys enjoy, and I will enjoy this. Bro, there's a turtle in the road. What's up, little guy? Hey.